This is the Board of Health meeting, 5/18/2020. The time is 10:02. People present at the meeting are Kevin Perkins, Arlene Diaz, Gil Amato, Teresa Cosio. Teresa, did we ever hear back from Dennis?
No.
No.
Okay. This actually shouldn't take us super long. I have not had an opportunity to look at the new orders, but I guess we could do that later. My concern was that we were going to have this meeting and then the guidance was going to come out later, that maybe we would need to have a meeting on Wednesday or Thursday to look over it. But I guess we can look over it today, and then if we decide we need to meet, we can do that on Thursday. Kevin, are you available on Thursday?
Yep. In the morning.
Okay. All right, then we could take today to look at this, and then if we need to have another meeting. But the things that we needed to cover really quick were a potential COVID testing site in Hanson, which would be for this Thursday. It's a private lab out of Natick that is offered to come down and do testing. People would have to pay for their own testing at $65. They would set it up for like 2.5, 3 hours. People would have to have appointments. The question is whether or not we would do something like using the McQuon parking lot as opposed to people going into a building, because none of the town buildings are open right now. But then the recommendation might have been to use the old police station. But that's something that Board of Selectmen is going to need to vote on tomorrow night, just so that people were aware. And we don't have anything that we need to do. The company that's coming takes care of everything. They provide the nurse, they provide the tech, they provide everything. They take care of the appointments. The only thing we would just need to let people know that they can go online and register for an appointment. So the only thing we would do. Go ahead.
Is there a particular reason that, I mean, my first instinct on this is we shouldn't be getting involved in testing unless is this something coming from the state that at a local level we're required to start doing testing?
No, and we're not doing the testing.
But we're facilitating it. That we're giving them the property to do testing, and we're. I mean, my just first instinct on this is something we shouldn't be getting involved in, and that there's enough testing sites around that people can get tested for free in most cases. That for us to get involved in testing at a local level seems unwarranted.
But we're actually not getting involved. Like I said, it would be up to the Board of Selectmen whether or not they would let them use the property. And if you're asymptomatic, you can't get tested unless you work for a company that provides the test for you. So in order for you to go on any of the sites now, you have to have symptoms.
Right.
And you have to be screened for the symptoms. And this would be...
If people aren't having symptoms, what are they getting tested for, I guess, would be the question.
Because people can be asymptomatic and still have it. And it may be that it's people that are worried that want to make sure that they don't have the virus. And they're paying for it themselves. There's no cost to us.
So what you're saying is this has nothing really to do with the Board of Health. It's up to the selectmen to do this?
It's up to the selectmen to allow this company to use town property, whether it be the parking lot at the McQuon or a building someplace else. It's really up to the Board of Selectmen because we're not.
Is this something other towns are doing? I mean, is Pembroke doing this? Whitman, Kingston, Halifax, or any of these towns doing this?
I know that the same lab did one in Natick, and they did it through a church in Natick. The site that they used was a church in Natick. I don't know I can't tell you what other towns are doing in terms of. I know Pembroke has a couple of different sites that testing is happening at, but I think it's the same thing. You have to be referred there to get an appointment, and you have to have symptoms. and I just happened to see them on a list of test sites. I think there's test sites popping up all over the place. But there's a demand.
I know.
The need.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's plenty of people that have been, not showing any symptoms that have had no trouble getting tests done.
And where are they going?
I believe Foxborough, and then there's isn't there one in Weymouth as well?
Yeah, but Foxborough is for police, first responders, essential workers. You still have to have your company sponsor you to go there. It's not like I could just say, I want to go to Foxborough and I can get an appointment there. You have to fall into a certain category. You have to be police, first responder, or considered an essential worker, and your company has to set you up to go there.
Now, is this intended just for residents? It will be only open to residents, or is this open to the public?
This would be open to residents in Hanson.
Only residents in Hanson.
I don't think so. That I would have to ask.
So,
I know they're going to go
So
online.
we're going to be right. So we're going to be flooded with residents from all these other towns that are nervous and want to get tested that aren't showing symptoms, and they're all going to be coming to Hanson at that point. And if some of them are positive, we're going to bring all that to Hanson.
There are, I believe, 100 slots during the course of the time that they're there. They're spaced so that it might be every 10 or 15 minutes that somebody's being tested. I can't see that there would be a flood. People are not getting out of their cars, and that was the reason I thought the McQuan parking lot was a good spot. And the 100 appointments are spread over 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you that just Lowe's and Home Depot are flooded by people. I can only imagine what it's going to be like in Hanson if we open up a testing site.
You mean, are they doing testing?
No, not with testing. I'm just saying with people. I'm just saying with people that are out and about, that those locations are being flooded with people just looking, doing gardening at home and stuff. They're just packed with people. I can only imagine if we're the only local town that is going to all of a sudden offer testing, that we're going to be essentially a magnet drawing in all these people from surrounding areas, to have them all come to Hanson. It doesn't seem like a great idea in my opinion.
I would think that first of all, that would be difficult because Board of Selectmen would be talking about it on Tuesday and the testing would be on Thursday. So it's not like we're going to advertise or anyone's going to advertise for 3 weeks that you can come to Hanson. So I don't think that that's the case at all, that we're going to be getting people from surrounding towns. There are tons of testing sites all over the place. I just don't know that they've opened up enough so that people that don't have symptoms, unless they're an essential worker, there's no way for them to get tested. And I really don't think we're going to have. Go ahead.
I mean, regardless of whether someone's tested or not, and if they test positive and they're not showing symptoms, everyone's supposed to be complying with social distancing guidelines. So it really doesn't change anything in the big scheme of things. Whether I test positive or not, we're still supposed to be complying with all the social distancing guidelines and all the guidelines in stores and whatnot. So it really, in my opinion, doesn't change anything, that if someone's having symptoms, then they should go and get tested. If not, I don't really see the benefit to drawing all this activity really for no reason. I just don't think it's a great idea. I mean, if someone feels that they should be getting tested, I mean, they can work with the doctor and they can get a test.
What makes you think we would be breaking social distancing guidelines? These people are in their
We're not. They're not breaking social distancing guidelines. I'm saying if people were to go and get tested, it doesn't change the solution of the problem. Whether they test positive or they don't test positive, people are still supposed to comply with these guidelines. So if someone's not showing symptoms and they're not at risk to themselves of having health issues with where they'd need to be hospitalized or seek medical attention, whether they test positive or they don't get tested at all, it doesn't change what they should be doing, is my point.
Well, for people that should be quarantining, it does change. So yes, we should all be following the guidelines in terms of wearing masks and social distancing, but that doesn't stop me from being positive, not knowing that I'm positive, and still shedding the virus, touching things and going places. So that part doesn't make sense to me because you still have to follow those guidelines. I just don't know how that fits within the realm of this test. But okay, you're saying that you, for some reason, you think that Hanson would be inundated with people wanting to be tested.
I think if it gets out to the public, which obviously that's the intent of this, is to notify the public that, hey, you can get tested here, that I think that soon will be all over social media, all over Facebook, and you're going to be flooded in Hanson by people from other towns. That I don't think we should be getting in the middle of this unless it's mandated from the state that towns are required to offer local testing at a local level for residents, that all towns are doing it. I don't think we should be a test subject and start doing that on our own.
All right. And again, you realize we're not doing it. They would have to go to a website and sign up through the lab.
Right. But I mean, we're orchestrating it, and we're getting involved in it. I understand what you're saying with we're not the ones doing the physical testing. We're not going to go administer the testing, but we're getting involved in it. And I think it's really not our place to get involved in this unless it comes down from the state that we're required to do it.
Okay.
I mean, that's my input on it. I just think it's something we shouldn't be getting involved in.
Okay. And because we're paying for it, to me, it's like I don't know how many people are willing to pay for it, but that would be up to them, each individual, if they wanted to. So it will be discussed tomorrow at the Board of Selectmen.
So this is a decision that the selectmen are going to make, and we have nothing to do with it regardless.
The testing actually has sort of not, it's not through us. So I'm saying if they wanted to use town property, they'd have to go through the Board of Selectmen. I don't know. What is our role in this as far as what we're discussing? If this is up to the selectmen, let the selectmen make the decision on it, and they can handle it. If we have no role in this. This is to make people aware of what's happening, or what's potentially happening. That was the reason I had it put on the agenda, so that people would be aware.
Right, but if we have no role in this, then I think we should let the selectmen handle it. And if they think that they want to do it, let the selectmen make the decision on that, and let the selectmen pick a testing site. That I think that we should not have our hands in it.
Okay. But you're aware that it's potentially going to happen.
If it happens and the selectmen want it to happen, that's fine. But I don't think that we should be getting our hands in it and getting involved in it.
That's fine.
Unless it comes down from the state that at a local level we're required to do this.
And I'm sure the state's not going to do that. So.
Hello.
All right. Hello.
Hi there.
Yep. Oh, you showed up.
I did.
Okay. Did you just log in?
I just unmuted myself. I've been listening for about 5 minutes.
Okay. So do you have any thoughts?
What is I thought the police commissioner was the head man for the crisis management. Was I wrong in assuming that?
No, and I'm not sure what you're talking about. Are you talking about getting test results?
No, for the town, the crisis management.
Usually the emergency management is the fire chief.
I believe it's the police chief. I
don't think so. But
regardless of either one it is, why aren't they playing a more active role
in
the testing and coordinating?
Because the testing is not being offered by the town, so it really wouldn't come under them.
Oh, okay.
It's a private company saying, we would like to offer this to your town. So we might hear the train in a minute. It's not, the town is not sponsoring anything. It's just, so they wouldn't be involved.
Okay, I get it now.
So I thought you were talking about test results, but no. As far as I know, emergency is Jerry. Jerry's always been the command person for that.
Yeah.
The fire chief.
I don't know why I thought it was because I believe the question came up before, and I don't know where I got the idea it was the police chief. But
Yeah, I'll look and see if I can find it somewhere. But I know he has always been the person that would set up a command.
I do. Yeah, I do remember that coming up before, and I believe it was either the police chief or the fire chief or both acting
yes,
together.
no,
There was a discussion on that before.
someone
Yeah,
just
I don't.
someone informed me it is the police chief.
For
Oh.
emergency,
Yes.
for the emergency, I don't know. I've always thought it was Jerry. I can ask him, and I know it's something that they do jointly. But I've always thought he was, and I think I saw it somewhere. I'll have to look through my papers that he was the one that's in charge. But
So as far as keeping things rolling here on our agenda,
yes, the
so
letter.
in response to the testing, I mean, is this something we need to make a vote on? It just sounds like we're kind of just in discussion on it, but I mean, like I said, I think that we should leave this up to the selectmen.
Right, we don't need a vote on it. This was just so that people were aware.
Okay. Well, I'm sure the
Because we're
selectmen will handle that at the next meeting.
Right.
Okay.
And,
All right.
and
So I
they
guess
should
we
be
can
meeting
move on
tomorrow.
to the next thing. Okay.
Did you get an opportunity to look at the letter, the proposed letter regarding the
I
regulation?
believe I got
From who?
the phase one enforcement. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, yes. So this was social recycling is there's like 20 towns within it. So in a couple of weeks, the regulations are going to be opening on all the MRFs. And since all of us have had trouble with the recycling and the cost, we thought this was going to be an opportune time for us to tell the commissioner that they needed to tighten up some of the rules around how these companies operate. And so this is an opportunity for us to say, you really need to tighten stuff up because they're not following their contracts, they're not doing the things that they should do, but there's no teeth in the regulations, and the regulations need to be changed. And they're going to be working on it in, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, looking at the regulations and are there changes that need to be made to hold these companies more accountable. And so there was a sample letter that was sent to us that we could send to the commissioner, just supporting the fact that we felt there needed to be more regulations on these companies because almost all of the towns fell into the same situation that we did. The companies didn't honor their contracts. They decided to up the price of the services they were providing and then wanted to give us a hard time because we wanted to pay the contracted price and not the price that they had escalated. And this is just to let them know, the commissioner know, that there has to be better regulations so that these companies are not doing what they have done in the past and not following the contracts, raising the prices, and then sort of holding all the towns hostage because there's no place else you can go.
Would or not to do it, because she's going to go back to Laura and say there was no vote.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, you hear us?
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
Good.
in regard to the testing,
Yes.
can you guys take a vote on that, please? To allow or not to allow? Because there was a lot of discussion and nothing happened with it. Or do you want to hold off on a vote if we have a meeting on Thursday?
I think Kevin didn't want to. It sounded to me like Kevin didn't want us to be involved at all. Am I
Okay,
right in
so
that,
a
Kevin?
vote would confirm or deny that.
Right.
All right. I'll make a motion on that so we can do that. I'll make a motion to leave it up to the selectmen to make decisions on testing and test sites if they want to do it or if they don't want to do it, and for the Board of Health to stay out of that at this point in time unless it were to come down from the state that we're required to get involved in it.
I'll second that.
Okay. Roll call, all in favor. Kevin?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
And I am I know. Okay, now back to the letter. Did either of you have an opportunity to look at the letter?
I didn't know.
Okay. And Teresa, you sent it out last, like maybe Wednesday?
Let me see.
This is the letter on recycling, correct?
Yes, yes. And one town actually sued one of the companies and won a $50,000 judgment because it was the same situation we were in. The company raised the price, then, threatened to not provide services, told the town they had to pay the higher cost, and the town ended up taking them to court.
Yeah. I mean, if this is a contract violation, this is something that, should be handled by town council, wouldn't it be?
We did that. We've already done that with the company. But this is in terms of, are we in favor of the state putting in regulations that tighten up sort of the loopholes where these companies are doing this, that really put some teeth into making these companies stick to their contracts and not do what they've done? Because I think now in the regulations, there isn't anything.
Right, but I mean, a contract is a contract. If they're not honoring the contract and they're violating the contract, that would be on the town to pursue with the town's council to pursue that and make them honor the contract or go to litigation on it. I mean, what exactly are we looking? What exactly are we looking to do as far as the state to tighten up what? I mean, a contract is pretty black and white.
It's not just the contract. It's not just the contract. Did you look at the letter? It's about regulations. Huh?
When was it sent? I can't find it.
Look at let me just go back and see if I can find it.
Dennis, I sent it Wednesday at 8:25 a.m.
Yeah, I thought she sent it on Wednesday. No, last week.
Did she send it this morning?
Last week.
I don't have it.
Dennis, I just sent it to you again.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, yep.
Oh, okay. And Kevin, you said you had an opportunity to look at it, right?
Yeah, I looked at it and I have it right here in front of me. Yep. I mean, I'm all for in favor if the state's gonna, like you said, try to tighten up just to hold them more accountable. That's gonna benefit all the towns. Sure, I'm all for that. But as far as a contract violation, if the contract is not,
it says nothing about contracts. I was talking about contracts and sort of some of the issues that happen because there's no teeth in the regulations to stop these companies from doing it. So the contract was just something that I was saying that has nothing to do with this letter. And there's a couple of things they were asking in particular, that they wanted regular reporting of outbound waste. The companies don't do that. They want to know what these companies are doing with the stuff once they get it in. So there's certain guidelines they're supposed to follow what they're recycling, but they're not reporting back to anybody what's happening with the stuff. Where is it really going? But there's nothing in the regulations they have to. So part of what's being recommended here. Go ahead.
What are we looking to do? Just agree with this letter from DEP? Is that what we're looking to do?
We're looking to support them looking at the regulations and tightening up the regulations so that these companies are doing what they should be doing.
Is this going to cost us any money?
No. Nope. Nope. It's just a matter of us saying that.
It's not going to increase the workload of our secretary or our health agent or anything, and it's not going to cost us any money?
No. This is just so that when they have the meeting in a couple of weeks, they have information from all the towns saying, we support you moving forward with updating the regulations and putting things in place to hold these companies accountable. That's all this letter says, that we're supporting that. It's not going to cost us anything. It's nothing that we have to do. It's just a matter of supporting what we feel the commissioner needs to do in terms of the regulations. And the regulations don't open that often, and it just so happens they're going to be opening up in a couple of weeks. So this is the time to give them input into what we feel benefits the local towns.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll make a motion to support. Yeah, I'll make a motion to support the letter from DEP to the commissioner. Granted, it doesn't increase the workload of our office staff or cost us any funds.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call. Kevin?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
And Arlene, yes. What's next on our agenda? So the next thing on the agenda is, I don't know if you guys got an opportunity to read the letter.
Which letter?
Mr. Constantine had sent a letter to all of us. I'm assuming he emailed everybody.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Yep.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure you saw it. I'll respond. I don't know if you have anything you want me to include in the response, and I can also, before I send out the response, send it to both of you to see if there's anything you want to add to it before I send it, if that makes sense.
You've already prepared a response to Mr. Constantine?
No, not yet. No. So I will prepare a response, but then I would send it to both of you before I sent it out, is what I'm saying. I have not responded. Okay. No.
Yeah, if you want to prepare a response and send it out, I think I'm comfortable with that. We can look it over.
Yeah, because there was a lot. There's a lot in there to cover. So no, I did not have time to prepare any kind of a response. But I also wanted to talk to you guys to see if you wanted input into it, so I can prepare a response, send it to you guys first before we send it out.
I think if you prepare a response, and if there's something that maybe we want to add to it, we can do that after we review it. Does that sound all right?
Yes. Yep. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay. Is anything else come in terms of septic plans?
No.
Okay. We're still tentatively talking about a meeting on Thursday, potentially to go over the guidance that the governor's putting out today. I don't know how it's going to impact what we're doing in Hanson. So that would be the reason for the meeting. And I know that Teresa and Gil just got this morning. I'm sure they haven't had time to go through it to look and see exactly what we have to do.
It's me, Gil. Really don't have to do too much. I think just make sure, everybody adheres to this guideline, which we've been doing all along here. We've had over 31 orders from the governor, so this is kind of minute to what's taking place next. So I think we should be all right. Plus, we have more guidance coming out by the end of the week, too. So,
okay. So do you think we don't need to have a meeting then on Thursday?
No, I don't think so. I mean, everybody will get a copy of it. If anything else comes out, we'll send out a copy.
I sent that out to everybody.
Everybody's got this one now, right?
I sent that out to everybody.
Yeah, I believe she sent that up this morning when she got it.
Yeah. You know, we got this money, went right out, because, you know, things are gonna probably happen a little bit fast in certain areas, but I think we're gonna be all right, so.
Okay, so we may not need to have a meeting.
Did I read correctly on that, that order that it says that we're not required to do inspections for businesses to open up?
Correct.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. Because I think we had discussion on that previously, to obtain subcontract services if we needed them.
Yeah,
That was for restaurants. That was restaurants, not businesses, right, though?
Yeah,
I haven't looked at this, so I don't know.
Able to open yet.
yeah.
What is it?
Restaurants are further down the line. They're not able to open yet.
Okay, all right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is businesses. So I have a question. In Hanson, don't most businesses have to have a permit to operate? Do we allow businesses set up tents in South Bend? And the question is coming because yesterday, when I was on my way to the transfer station, I saw a tent that was selling hand sanitizer and gloves, and I thought it was really odd. It was in a parking lot. But I thought, I've never seen anything like that in Hanson. It's almost like a pop-up. And I wondered, don't most businesses need permits? And it's not essential, so I'm not sure why it was there.
Okay, to start off with, he's there. He has a state hawkers and peddlers license. They've done this. They've done this like a few towns. The police chief was there yesterday, checked them out. They are technically legal because he is selling PPE, and he has a state hawkers and peddlers license. I went there this morning, spoke to the gentleman, and he showed me the same thing he showed the police chief. I came back to town hall, informed Beth about what's going on, and it's a zoning issue. He should have gone before zoning and building and zoning because you know, he is outside there, but he does have a
right.
state.
And I thought it was so weird. I'm like, I've never seen that in Hanson before. Why is that?
Well,
all right.
Bob comes in. Bob will be in this afternoon here. As soon as Bob comes in, we're going to talk. Because Bob is the zoning enforcement officer, and he'd have to be the one to go talk to the guy. So I've been there. The police chief's been there. So
okay. I just
Bob
thought
gets
it
here,
was
we'll talk to him.
weird. It was
And
weird.
in this particular setup, all they're selling is they're making PPE available to the public.
Yes, a kind of
hand sanitizer and gloves.
Is that really an issue?
It's just the way he popped up. It's a pop-up thing.
Yep. Yeah. But I mean, as far as what the services they have to offer, don't we think that that's probably a good thing for the community?
It's just the way it popped up. He's on an area that's, you know, the intersection there. He's right basically on the road baseline. So
okay, so it's more of a safety concern with zoning that maybe they should find somewhere else to do it.
I would think so because apparently he doesn't need a town permit, where he has like called a state hawkers and peddlers license. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like a blanket permit that they can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be like you said. I think that would be a question for the zoning enforcement officer.
Yes. So the Board of Health.
Say it again.
Go ahead. I said the Board of Health.
You started to say.
No, I'm just saying that the Board of Health. I've been there. The police chief's been there. So now it's up to the zoning enforcement officer.
Right. It was just odd. I've never seen any kind of a pop-up business in Hanson before, and I was on my way to work, and I thought that's weird.
So they're complying with regulations as far as the Board of Health's concerned, social distancing and wearing a mask and gloves and that kind of stuff. So it's really just the question of a zoning infraction is what we're discussing.
Yes.
Okay, I think we should probably defer that and just bring it to the zoning enforcement officer's attention then.
My question
yes, as soon as he comes, we'll bring it up to him.
The only reason I brought it up was my question was, in Hanson, do you need permit to do stuff like that? Not that I thought it was a Board of Health issue. I just thought it was odd that I'd never seen anything like that before. And then where it was.
I've never seen people wear masks in every store before either. So I mean, and we're kind of in some strange times right now. So I think that we should probably just let we should probably just let the zoning enforcement officer just handle that and make a call on that. If he thinks it's a zoning violation, then he can address that. But if it's not a Board of Health violation or anything we should be concerned with, I think we should probably just steer clear.
Kevin, I was not bringing it up as a Board of Health issue. I was asking, did anybody in general know about sort of how businesses like that are in Hanson, because I've never seen them. I was not bringing it up because it was something we needed to vote on or discuss. I just had never seen that before and thought maybe somebody else had. That was it.
Right, but that just sounds like it's zone. Right, that just sounds like it's a zoning concern and not really our concern, as long as they're not violating anything that we oversee.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I'm back on again here. Yeah, I have to respond to every call I get, so I did respond to it because it was, it was cause of concern. So no matter what the call is, I do go check it out. So I did that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So anything else, Gil?
I don't have anything. This is Kevin. I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
So I guess right now we're going to leave this at that. We're potentially going to have a meeting later. We'll see what happens with the selectmen meeting, and then we can schedule one if needed.
Well, that's the question. The question is, I wanted to do the meeting on Thursday to go over the guidelines that were being put out today, but they were going to be put out, I thought, after our meeting. So Teresa and Gil, have you guys had an opportunity to look at them? Because it sounded like Gil thought we didn't need to have a meeting.
No, I don't think so. I think, whoever comes out, I mean, it's only, so many businesses, not that many actually fall into the category of what's opening up, so that are in Hanson. So I think we're all set.
Okay. So it looks like we don't need to, based on them having looked at the guidelines already. And I'm sure it's going to be a slow process. So I think we're good.
And like we said before, that if Teresa or Gil feel that we need to have a meeting, we can schedule that too. I just don't think that right now it sounds like we need to schedule one.
No, not if the guidelines are clear and it really there isn't a lot of impact in Hanson, then there isn't a need for us to. So, Gil, did you have anything else that you needed?
No, I think that's about it. There's nothing really, pressing here. Just things as normal, general business going on. So that's about it.
Okay. All right. Then I guess
I'll make a motion to adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second?
Yep, I heard that was Kevin, right? And that was seconded by Dennis?
Yes.
Okay. So, Kevin?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
And Arlene? Yes. Meeting is adjourned. Is it 10:48?
10:41.
10:41. I'm not looking at the clock. All right.
Thank you.
We're all set. Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.